Hi, so we are going to look at four major things in this current video. We are going to get the average score for the students. Average score is also the mean score for the students. Secondly, we are going to award pass or fail based on a pass mark of 60. The third thing that we are going to do is that we are going to award grades using the criteria that is highlighted here, where if a student scores 80, it is an A. If the student scores 70 to 79, that's a B. If the student scores 60 to 69, that's a C. And if the student scores less than 60, that becomes an F. So to get the average marks, we are going to use an is equals to average formula. So is equals to average usually returns an average or mean. So we are going just to type in here is equals to, and remember every Excel formula starts with an equal sign. So is equals to average, equals to average, and then we select the cell ranges. So is equals to average C2 to D2 will return the mean of values in the cell C2 up to D2. So that is the average for the two cells, and we can reuse this formula to get the average for every data item there. So there is the average for the average score for our students in paper 1 and paper 2. So after getting the average marks nicely as this, we are going to use those average marks to get the to assign a grade of pass or fail to each student. Remember our pass mark is 60%. So we are going to determine those students above 60 would have passed and those students who score below 60 would have failed. So we are going to use a simple if function to do that for us. So we type in is equals to if is equals to if. So we can use that if function. We are going to give it a logical test. It is going to check E2. So what is it going to do at E2? It is going to check if E2 is greater or equals to 60. So if E2 is greater or equals to 60, comma, what it will return is a pass, otherwise it will return a fail. So we say if E2 is greater or equals to 60, then we return a pass. Remember, I've used the double quote, so I just say pass inside the quotes. Double quotes is used normally if you are going to give a you are going to give a text as your output. If you are going to give a number as your output, there's no need to use the double quote. So is equals to if E2 is greater or equals to 60 pass, then value if false, now we are going to assign a fail. So we just again use the double quotes and then say here fail. Then you press enter. So 67 is greater than 60, that's a pass. And then we have a fail at student 8 has 58 marks, that's a fail. So now we have our student marks and already we know whether the students have passed or failed, but now we want to assign grades. Remember, some passes are greater than others. Somebody can pass and have an A, other can pass and have a B, other C, and the rest who have not passed can have a fail. So we are going to award the students grade based on this grading system. So 80 is A, 70 to 79 is B, 60 to 69 is C, then less than 60 is F. So now we are going to still use the if functions, but we are going to use it multiple times. So we are going to use multiple or nested if function. So our first function usually starts, we just start with an equal sign, then we say is equals to if. Then what are we going to check? We are going to check the average is equals to if E2 is greater than 80, then comma, we if that thing is true or if that value is true, we award it an A. And remember, we use our quotes to award and to assign the grade there. Then we say comma, and now instead of giving value if false, we start another if again. So is equals to if, then we assign a logical test again is equals to if E2 is equals to if E2 Again, now we are using the second statement. If it is between 70 to 79, so it means that if it is equals to E2 is greater or equals to 70, remember you do not have to go and say the upper limit because already is equals to or greater or equals to 80 will capture that. So greater or equals to 80 will always capture values that are more than 79. So is equal to, if E2 is greater than 70, we assign it a B. We assign it a B like that. Then we place a comma. We are going to the next part. We are not still closing because we have not reached the end of the statement. So we use another if is equals to if. And still we are looking at cell E2 is equals to if E2 is greater or equals to 60, comma, then we are giving it a C. Let's just type a C in there. And then now we have only been left with one function. So we can exit our if statement here by providing value if false. So we are going to say, we are going to say false or fail as our grade there. Remember, I have been opening the brackets here. I've opened them three times. So it means that at the end of my statement, I have to close the bracket three times. So to know which bracket you have closed, you will see it is turning to bold as you close. So the first bracket there has turned to bold, and if I close again, the red bracket has turned into bold, and if I close again, the last bracket has turned into bold. So it means that I've closed every possible bracket. Then you press enter. So 67 is a C. We can reuse this as a formula down there, and just like that, our if statement is complete. So we already have our grades, therefore the final thing that we are going to do is to count how many students have passed and how many students have failed. So we are going to use the countif function to determine how many students have passed and how many students have failed. So let me just create a label there for pass and a label there for fail. So we are going to check this column for how many students have passed and how many students have failed. To do that, we use the is equals to countif. Remember, account statement will just count, but account if will count if a specific criteria is met. So I want to count if my cell ranges are there between F2 to F11, and I want to use the criteria for pass. So it means that this formula will look at values between F2 to F11 and determine and count only those values with the pass. So the passes there are 9. And now to determine the number of fails, we again use the same formula is equals to countif, but then we change the criteria from pass to fail. So is equal to countif F2 to F11, comma, then we use fail F2 to F11, then fail. Then we close our bracket. You see there are 9 passes and 1 fail. So if you modify anything, like if I modify student 5, you would see what happens. So if I modify these marks to maybe 40, and I press enter, everything changes and now we have 2 fails. So I wanted to try with the paper 2 and try to get the grade, whether this is to get to assign remarks whether the student has passed or failed, and to get the grades, and also if you can count how many people have passed paper 2 and failed. So if you like this video, you can always share, click the like button and subscribe. Thank you.